Did you know that the human body shares 50% of our genetic material with plants and trees? Which means if you take two humans, you have one tree. Now, to build a Spanish galleon, the most recognizable form of a pirate ship, it takes 2,000 trees. If so facto, 4,000 humans could be built into that same ship, except it would be made of skin and bones instead. How is this relevant? Well, you see, 1,600 of you wanted me to build part of the ship, part of the crew, where I mutate onto vehicles while they are creatures, and then they stay mutated when it stops being a creature. Very much Davy Jones, Flying Dutchman, Pirates of the Caribbean style. You see, essentially, when you crew a vehicle, it becomes also a creature. Now you can mutate onto it, transforming into something freaky, like a ship that's now an artifact that has this mutate text, but it doesn't do anything because it's not a creature anymore. You have to crew it again. So it's very disturbing. It's like if your car had eyes and tentacles, but wasn't alive unless you were inside of it. It's weird. On the other hand, though, we could always mutate on top of the vehicle. Now it's a creature, and we get all the cool vehicle stuff. And it's also a creature, so it can mutate more and more. We don't have to crew it anymore. Except we can't do that because you guys wanted it specifically in one way, not the other. So now we always have to mutate underneath the vehicles, and we need to still crew the vehicles to get them to swing. It's a lot. It's a lot of things to juggle, okay? In my opinion, the premise of the deck is a serious crime. I like vehicles as much as the next guy. I'm a fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but trying to combine them in like the Hadron Collider is gonna get me put on Santa's naughty list. But you know what they say, coal is just not diamond yet. So I can make it work. I know it. Now, before we can build part of J. Crew, part of Drop Ship, I gotta tell you, I'm known as the most unhinged deck builder on the internet. So if you've got a weird, wacky, silly, goofy idea, challenge me in the comments down below. The one with the most upvotes, I have to build. And while you're down there, leave a like and subscribe. Now, our commander is gonna be Pirates of the Caribbean on Graver Tides. By that I mean Moldothra the Grave Tide. He's made of water, he gives me Davy Jones vibes, and during each of our turns, we may play a land and cast a permanent spell of each permanent type from our graveyard, and he's a 6/6 for 6 mana. Pretty cool. We're double dipping because we can cast vehicles from the graveyard with him. That's good. And because we're casting from the graveyard, we can cast our mutate creatures for their mutate cost. That is double good because mutate creatures are a lot like the stock market. It's a bubble. Okay, if one of our mutate guys gets popped, we're very heavily invested in them, so it's bad, but it's good. So let's talk about the mutate guys we're running. Polywog Symbiote is good. Card selection is nice, and we get a Groupon, so now we can go swimming in the nuclear water for a little bit cheaper when we want to mutate. That's pretty cool. Sea Dasher Octopus gives us card draw. Dreamtail Boy and the Heron gives us mutate card draw. And Migratory Greathorn gives us basic lands because our commander's like 6 mana, and that's expensive sometimes. Now, of course, most mutate creatures you're expecting to kaiju through the city. Right now, we're kind of a little baby mode. Well, we're going to change that. Sawtusk Demolisher is crazy. He works on land. Whenever this creature mutates, destroy target non-creature permanent. That's land. And they get a 3/3 beast. So we can just beast within repeatedly. And the art is encouraging us to do this to their land. He's sawing a forest in half. All right, that's terrifying. Then we got Dirge Bat and Chittering Harvester. These guys make your opponent sack and destroy creatures. That's good. So it's creature removal. Then we got Gem Razor. This guy destroys artifacts and enchantments. Good removal. But there's more where that came from because we're basically running Xavier School for mutant creatures. We've got Auspicious Sterix, 5 mana or 6 mana to mutate. Whenever this guy mutates, exile permanent cards and put them on the battlefield. It's sweet. Glowstone Recluse, get +1/+1 counters. Parcel Beast, get land or put something into your hand from the top of your library. That's cool. Bouncing Shore Shark should be his name because when he mutates, you return target creature and opponent controls to their hand. Nice. Boneyard Lurker. Whenever this guy mutates, return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. This makes it easier to do other stuff with Moldothra. Then we got Insatiable Hemophage. When this guy mutates, each opponent loses X life and we gain life, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. So like 3 or 4 for the most part. Trumpeting Gnar. When this guy mutates, create a 3/3 beast creature token. So that's a board state. We like that. Cavern Whisperer. When this guy mutates, each opponent discards a card. That's good for us. Mind Leecher. When this guy mutates, exile the top card of each opponent's library. We can play it as long as those cards remain exiled. Sweet. Souvenir Snatcher is 5 mana. Whenever this guy mutates, gain control of target non-creature artifacts, so we get their soul ring, basically. Archipelagor is 7 mana, or 6 for a mutate. When this guy mutates, tap up to X target creatures, so like 2 or 3, where X is the number of times this creature is mutated. They don't untap during their controller's next untap step. That's good. They get stunned. Pretty sweet. Now, of course, we talked about the mutate guys. Little fun fact that I learned, if you mutate onto a token like this, basically, it is actually still a token according to the game, which means it can actually be populated. Now, if only there was a pirate that looked like he was, a mutant that does populating stuff. Oh, wait, that's right. Xavier Sal, Infested Captain. We can tap him to remove a counter from another permanent we control to populate. That's sweet. And we have a bunch of counters from stuff like Glowstone Recluse, Mysterious Egg, Essence Symbiote. But enough about the mutant creatures. What about the ships? All right, the other half of the equation. We got Reaver Titan, except we don't, because that guy's a mech and not a ship. But Ribskiff, now that's a ship. He's also got Toxic too, which is good because we win the game, we play less of this deck. It already hurts my mind to have to mutate onto vehicles. This deck is wild and silly. Now, Raider's Carve gives us land. Omen Keel lets us play opponent's land. Conqueror's Galleon turns into a land. I'm not even going to pretend to know what happens if you mutated onto the Conqueror's Galleon and then it transforms. You guys Google it. I didn't want to think about it. My brain was already on fire. Now, the Indomitable is like microdosing Moldothra because you can cast it from your graveyard as long as you have pirates and vehicles in play. Pretty sweet. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage, draw a card. That happens all the time. We love drawing cards. Drawing cards wins us games. Now, of course, there is the concept of the Russian nesting doll with the card Golden Argosy. Whenever it attacks, exile each creature that crewed it this turn. Return them to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control, beginning the next end step. Sweet. What if we had a big creature, by the way, with a lot of mutated guys underneath it? Well, it goes to crew, it attacks, you bring back each of them individually. They're not one creature anymore. They're all back to them being their own guys. Independent, strong women. Now, Moldothra, if you exile him, he forgets that you cast stuff from your graveyard. So now you can cast 2 things from your graveyard of each permanent type if you bounce him with the Golden Argosy. That's kind of fun. Then we got Nautiloid Ship. 4 mana for a vehicle, flying, enters the battlefield, you Bajuka Bog someone's graveyard. And when the Nautiloid deals combat damage to a player, you can just put a creature card exiled from their graveyard with the Nautiloid onto the battlefield. We get some freebies. All right, that's sweet. Now we got more things on our battlefield that we can use to crew our ships. And we got the Adrestia next, a 3-mana legendary artifact with Island Walk. I love a little bit of Island Walk. The assassin thing is never going to come into play. I don't think we have any assassins in this deck. But you give them a Sea Dasher Octopus, all of a sudden, Island Walk plus draw a card, that's free every single time. And crew 1, we love that. Now, a little goofy move here. We got Pirate Ship. It's a creature, but it's a ship. And we can use it to crew a different ship. Same thing with Ghost Ship. It's a ship that crews a different ship. Yeah, that's silly. But enough about the ships, okay? One more piece in this deck is we got the ships, we got the mutants. What about the pirates? Obviously, someone else has got to be crewing the ships, okay? We got Direfleet Ravager, 5 mana Orc Pirate Wizard Menace, Death Touch. This guy, great to recast with Moldothra. Enters the battlefield, each player loses a third of their life rounded up each time that he enters the battlefield. So he dies, bring him back. Now another third gone. Dies, bring him back, another third gone. That's good, I like that. Then we got Skeleton Crew. Hey, guess what? Whenever one or more creatures leave their graveyard, create a 2/2 black skeleton pirate creature token. That's a little guy. And that's happening all the time with our commander. Sweet. And give him a boating license. Why don't you? Somebody has got to drive the freak boats, okay? And it's going to be the skeleton. We got Tomb Robber, 3 mana, human pirate, menace. For 1 mana, we can discard a card, throwing it right into Moldothra's big gaping maw. And guess what? He explores, goes on a little bit of a map quest. Shadowed Caravel says, hey, when a creature you control explores, put a +1 counter on it, which is good because that +1 counter goes to Xavier Sol. He makes us more beast mutants so that we have a board state. That's cool. How does this deck cross the finish line, though? How do we win the game? Well, we got Rib Skiff, if you forgot. He's got Toxic, giving our opponents poison counters, and we can tutor for him with Deadeye Quartermaster, a pirate. Wow, it's all coming together. So now we've got a bunch of mutants that we can put on that ship to give them trample and or flying. Okay, so now it's evasive. Now it's hitting our opponents, giving them those poison counters. which we can then proliferate with Xavier Sal, Infested Captain, or Skyship Plunderer, dealing combat damage to a player for each kind of counter on that player. Give him another one. So give him another poison counter. It's pretty sweet. Now, of course, if you're a gambling kind of person, you can run more Direfleet Ravager stuff, bouncing him back and forth with Golden Argusi and Moldothra the Gravetide. Now everyone's losing a bunch of life. Now everyone's got like 5 to 10 life because it's been thirded a bunch of times. Hit him with the Insatiable Hemophage. This guy, you know, we talked about him before, loses life equal to the number of times he's mutated, and you gain that life. He's a finisher sometimes if you mutated like 10 or 4 times. It's good. What about the skeleton strategy like the OG ride? Well, Tormod the Desecrator's in there, and so is the skeleton crew. Stuff leaves our graveyard, guys. It just happens. We're going to make some skeletons and zombies. Now we got a big board state. They're getting populated. Now we get to do some big board state shenanigans, like punching them in the face. Or we're crewing our ships, and we are hitting them for big damage. It all makes sense. That's 3 ways at least to win the game, all right? That's more than enough, all right? You're welcome. That does bring us to the end of the video, though. If you liked it, hey, leave a like. If you subscribe, subscribe. Shout out to my patrons on Patreon. You guys keep the lights on. Go and join me and support me there as well. You get access to behind-the-scenes stuff. It's pretty fun. And, of course, I got a Discord. It is linked in the description down below. Give it a join. It's fun and free and cool. And if you've got something you want me to build, again, challenge me in the comments down below. The one with the most upvotes, I gotta build. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.